Universitas Muhammadiyah Jember telah bekerja sama dengan institusi dan lembaga dalam negeri dan luar negeri dengan penyelenggaraan bentuk-bentuk kerjasama yang berkaitan dengan catur dharma perguruan tinggi, baik secara inisiasi dan kolaborasi yang bermanfaat bagi mahasiswa, dosen, dan institusi. Dengan banyaknya pencapaian yang telah Universitas Muhammadiyah Jember raih, baik dalam akademik dan non-akademik, pula dalam beramal usaha yang telah berhasil mendapatkan hak ciptanya, kini Universitas Muhammadiyah Jember semakin yakin untuk merencanakan lebih banyak konsep usaha, baik yang didasari dari penelitian maupun secara mandiri oleh universitas. Unit usaha yang terus dikembangkan yakni SPBU, Unit Armada Jember Trans, Layanan Kesehatan Klinik Suherman, Pertokoan dan Koperasi, Taman Kanak-kanak dan Paut Yasmin, serta produk-produk amal usaha lainnya. Universitas Muhammadiyah Jember menjadi salah satu perguruan tinggi Muhammadiyah yang turut berkontribusi sebagai pendiri UMAM atau Universitas Muhammadiyah Antarbangsa Malaysia. Pula menjadi salah satu yang dipercaya menjalankan amanah untuk mendirikan Rumah Sakit Universitas Muhammadiyah Jember.
Universitas Muhammadiyah Jember ini sebenarnya kan kepanjangan dari pimpinan pusat Muhammadiyah itu. Kita ini diberi amanah, sudah agak lama sebenarnya, tapi baru tahun ini akan kita laksanakan, yaitu kita akan mendirikan Rumah Sakit Universitas Muhammadiyah, yang mana ini merupakan cikal bakal atau salah satu syarat kalau nanti kita akan mendirikan fakultas kedokteran di Universitas Muhammadiyah Jember. Harapan saya selaku rektor Universitas Muhammadiyah Jember adalah Universitas Muhammadiyah Jember ini menjadi ya sejenis mercusuar lah untuk Muhammadiyah di Jember, terutama di bidang pendidikan. Di samping punya status yang bagus, juga bermanfaat bagi masyarakat sekitar.
Pendidikan menjadi ujung tombak suatu bangsa, inti dari seluruh elemen kehidupan. Universitas Muhammadiyah Jember siap mengemban amanah untuk agama dan bangsa. We love Kampus Biru.
Menjalin kolaborasi, perkuat sinergi merupakan tema milad Universitas Muhammadiyah Jember tahun ini, sekaligus launching Rumah Sakit Umum Universitas Muhammadiyah Jember pada tanggal 19 Sya'ban 1444 Hijriah atau yang bertepatan pada 11 Maret 2023. Menginjak usianya yang ke-42 tahun, sebagai salah satu perguruan tinggi swasta terbaik di Kabupaten Jember, Universitas Muhammadiyah Jember terus berkontribusi dengan cara melebarkan kiprahnya di dunia kesehatan. Hal tersebut ditandai dengan diresmikannya Rumah Sakit Umum Universitas Muhammadiyah Jember. Maka, hal inilah yang menjadi cikal bakal untuk merealisasikan berdirinya Fakultas Kedokteran. Dihadiri oleh Ketua Umum Pimpinan Pusat Muhammadiyah, Bapak Profesor Dr. Haidar Nasir MSI, Bupati Jember, Insinyur Haji Hendi Siswanto STIPU, Majelis Diktilid Bank PP Muhammadiyah, dan para pemangku tokoh kepentingan yang juga turut hadir dalam peresmian Rumah Sakit Umum Universitas Muhammadiyah Jember.
Bantulah kami untuk menjadi hamba-hamba yang bersyukur. Allahumma a'inna ala dzikrika wa syukrika min husnika.
Bangunan yang berdiri di atas tanah seluas 6,5 hektar dan luas bangunan 17.000 meter persegi tersebut berada di Desa Keranjingan, Kecamatan Sumbersari, Kabupaten Jember. Saat ini Rumah Sakit Umum Universitas Muhammadiyah Jember memiliki SDM sebanyak 93 orang yang meliputi 63 orang tenaga medis, 5 orang paramedis, dan 25 orang tenaga non-medis.
Pertama, PP Muhammadiyah memberikan penghargaan tinggi kepada rektor, juga kepada Bupati, seluruh jajaran, serta kekuatan-kekuatan masyarakat dan Muhammadiyah daerah Jember yang telah menghadirkan rumah sakit yang sudah di atas lahan 6,5 hektar.
Selain itu, Rumah Sakit Umum Universitas Muhammadiyah Jember dilengkapi dengan 11 poliklinik, instalasi gawat darurat, dan layanan rawat inap yang meliputi VVIP, VIP, kelas 1, ruang isolasi, dan rawat inap non-ICU.
Untuk pembukaan Rumah Sakit Umum Universitas Muhammadiyah, semoga semakin maju, jaya, dan bermanfaat untuk masyarakat sekitar di Jember khususnya. Luar biasa!
Bersih. Ya. Manfaat.
Excellent!
Jaya.
Megah!
Berkat izin dan dukungan dari segala pihak, Rumah Sakit Umum Universitas Muhammadiyah Jember bercita-cita untuk memberikan pelayanan kesehatan yang prima kepada masyarakat Jember dan sekitarnya. Layananku, ibadahku, tulus sepenuh hati.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning. First of all, I would like to say thank you very much to Mr. Richard Baliao as our keynote speaker for the day. He has come all the way from the Philippines.
200 menit itu 3 jam 20 menit.
He will be giving us some on language and education. I would like to also extend our deepest gratitude to our speakers, Ibu Dr. Candidate Anita Fatimatul Laili MPD. She is also going to inform us more about digital reading literacy, and our speaker, Ibu Dr. Asri Widyaruli Anggraini, MA, as also one of our speakers. He will be sharing more about multi-ethnic society, as well as some notes on the cultures that we have in Jember. Welcome to everyone. And welcome to our dear students who are coming to this micro teaching room and also attending via Zoom. Good morning. In this blessed morning, we are going to have our very first hybrid language and education webinar. This is one of a joint collaboration between our university, Muhammadiyah University of Jember, and Ifugao State University of the Philippines. And this is actually our second collaboration activity, which was first the guest lecture by us attending to the Ifugao State University, and now is the second activity. He himself is making his presence to Indonesia. Thank you. Without further ado, I would like to invite you all to send a warm applause, big applause to our speakers. Okay, so our webinar will be all in English, but if you later have some questions and maybe you have difficulties in presenting it in bahasa in English, please just inform me. Seluruh mahasiswa, mohon maaf. Apabila nanti ada pertanyaan mungkin dalam bahasa Indonesia silahkan disampaikan saja atau hal yang ingin diperjelas lagi. Kami akan bantu untuk menyampaikan pada tiap speaker. Insya Allah 2 speaker yang lain pasti berbahasa Indonesia. Baik. We will have our very first keynote from Mr. Richard Baliau. He is the Director of Communication and Public Relations of Ifugao State University. Ifugao State University is one of the state universities located in the Philippines. Maybe this is also one time I need to add some, not everyone is educated about how to write the Philippines in English. It should be in the Philippines, right? So if you translate Filipina into English, it's the Philippines with S. Because not everyone actually is aware of that, Mr. Richard. Now we'll have our 1 hour speak for Mr. Richard. He will be presenting about language and education. Once again, give him a big applause.
So good morning, everyone, especially to our future teachers of the English language. So how's your morning? It's okay, great. Yeah, because of the sunny day. Well, I do hope my phone can get in touch with my laptop, so I'm just be using my phone. Okay, so for this morning, I shall be sharing with you some perspectives, some concerns about language education. As language teachers or as teachers for the English language, you have to be so keen with this, not only for you to be teaching actually the structure of the language, but also for you to speak clearly the language. You should be the first one to know what the language is all about. Is it not? Yes. So, how many students do we have here? Do you belong to a single class? Oh no, different classes. Okay, that's good. Okay, so we start. I have questions for you. Definitely, in your first teaching career, you will always be asking your students different questions. See me when I was still in high school, still have hair. The first question is, can you read?
What language do you speak in home? Indonesia, sometimes Japanese.
Indonesia. Yeah, I appreciate very much Indonesia. You have around 700 plus languages. I cannot just imagine how these people come together, closely together, having different languages. Have you not, are you not amazed actually with that? For us in the Philippines, we only have 108. Is there a country that has only one language to speak? None? Yeah. Because of the different cultures that we share, even if we belong to a single country, right? Yeah, and for the next one or is everyone here? Or do we have somebody who can speak German? That's because I might be explaining here, and I focused already my explanation with your culture, only to find out that we have a Swedish or we have a Spanish here. So no other cultures, huh? Okay, another question here. How many languages can you fluently speak aside from your mother tongue? You said Bahasa. When you said a while ago Indonesia, what particular language? Aside from Indonesia. So when you speak of Indonesia, you're referring to Bahasa, right? So aside from Bahasa, no, anyway, why you're monopolizing actually the president?
Vicky. My name is Vicky. Yeah. Speaking Bahasa and Maduri.
So the other one is Maduris. Oh yeah. So that is locally. Bahasa is the country. Okay. Just like for us in Ifugao, our national language is Tagalog. But now they turn it Filipino because not only Tagalog is our language. We called it Filipino so that when we speak of a native language or a language of the nation, a national language, it won't only be referring to Tagalog because we have Ifugao. I myself, I'm an Ifugao, but I do not talk much of my dialect. It's a disgrace to my part because I grew up from another place. That's why. Okay, so with that, have you not tried also questioning yourself about this one? How did you learn your language? May I ask?
My name Reki. My name Reki.
Reki. So what's my apologies actually. I could hardly my tongue. I'll scold my tongue later on. What language do you speak?
Indonesian and Japanese.
Oh, Japanese and Indonesian. So how did you come to learn your Japanese?
My mom and my father.
Your mom and your father. How did they teach you?
Sorry? Morning.
In the morning? Okay. Okay. So that's it. How about
Benny.
okay. Okay, so you have your own languages. You have you aside from of course Bahasa Indonesia, which is the main language that you have. You have another local language, which is your mother tongue, correct? When we speak of mother tongue, that's the language that you are always using at home, in the community, to wherever social gatherings you're going, right? Yes. Now, how did you come to learn that? Did somebody teach you that, okay, when you speak this, just like Japanese, when you speak this Japanese in the morning, you say, when you wake up, you have to say, what is good morning in Japanese? Isu? Huh? Sutang? Ah. That selamat pagi is bahasa. Okay. Did they ever teach you it should not be pagi selamat? Right? But it was just normal conversation. It was a normal conversation, and through that, you grew up with your language and you were able to learn your language. Is it not? Did your father teach you, okay, my boy, you come here, you sit with me, and then we talk. This is how you're going to pronounce the words. Never. Yeah. I did not ever see a father or a mother or a brother or a sister calling for a brother or a sister, calling for her siblings, calling for his siblings to sit down with him and then, okay, let's talk about our language. None. Is it not? Yes, never. So, This will actually lead us to so many questions. How, where, what, when. This is language education. Okay? The teaching, learning of a language. This is language education. But for this morning, we shall be discussing only, we shall focus our discussion on language teaching because language learning follows with the method, the theories of language teaching. Would you be interested with that? Would you like to know why? Or are you interested in learning your language? Or are you interested on why do we need to learn our language? Have you not asked yourself, or are you not confused actually? Is your language perfect? Are there no, let's say, or a single term, let's say one thing, that you refer to a thing, but there are two terms that will refer to that thing. Do you have that in your language? Did you get my point? Wherein if I am to identify this, this is a cell phone, correct? But we have other terms for a cell phone. What? Mobiles, right? So different. Yeah, smartphone. But that term smartphones will soon vanish. Why? Because everything is smart already. Right? Okay. So this is language education. We focus actually on keep on coming back. Language teaching. Okay. So language teaching is the process of helping someone to learn a new language. Simple as that. That is language teaching. Do not let yourself find difficulty in defining what language teaching is. It is just simple as that. You are to help someone to learn a new language. But how? You are already, are you contented with 2 languages? I've been asking you, how many languages do you know? Only 2? Only 3 at most? So who knows 4 languages? Aside from Bahasa, Japanese, who knows German, Russian, Korean. You know Korean? 안녕하세요. You know, in Tagalog, we have this term, malay ko sayo. That means, I do not know about you. That is the term for that malay ko sayo, which has the same accent with 안녕하세요. When a Korean will meet a Filipino, 안녕하세요, then the Filipino will respond, malay ko sayo. It sounds similar, right? But the meaning is so funny. It doesn't actually reply to what is being, or the greetings being given. You know, we make fun of languages. Why are you so serious about language? Okay. So language teaching. Now we go back to what language teaching is all about. Actually, it's not the first time. This is not the first time that you are going to learn what language teaching is or what language education is, because it happened dated way back when, during the ancient Greece and Rome. You have your Greek mythology, you have your Roman mythology. Are you learning those in your literature classes? Sorry, in the Philippines we have that in our curriculum. So it's just a refreshing program for actually what happened before. Actually, it has no importance actually, but learning the history of everything, the root, the origin of everything will help you lead a direction to where you're going to. Correct? Yeah. It's like trekking a simple path wherein you do not know where you come from. Would you be able to reach your destination? Oh, I'm going. Okay, so historically, language teaching happened during Greece and Rome and was primarily focused on the study of Latin and Greek. Our literature actually are mostly based on Latin and Greek, correct? The Greek literature, they are magnificent. They started architecture, they started literature, right? So it pays actually for us to know the origin of what happened long time ago. Okay? So I should not deal much with that. That's in the Middle Ages, language teaching became more focused on the study of vernacular languages. Okay? French, German, Italian, due to the rise of nationalism. So if something happens actually in your country and they need to do something, it will affect also your language. Do not be talking on that. That is not the issue. You should refrain from discussing on all those. If the government will tell you to do that, well, and that happened during the Middle Ages. Okay? And in the 19th century, there was a renewed interest in the study of classical languages. Wilhelm von Humboldt argued that the study of language could help us to understand the human mind. Now, there is now the connection of understanding the human mind through the language. Does it say that when you, what is this? The kind of heart or mind that you have is seen, you see that from the manner on how you or somebody, how somebody talks. Did you get my question? The content of your heart is being determined by the manner on how you talk. Is it right? If your heart is full of hatred, what will be heard from your mouth? Will you be hearing, I love you, oh, you're so beautiful, oh, I like that? No, definitely not. Right? So, it is seen. Language actually will tell what kind of mind you have or what kind of heart you have. In the 20th century, new methods emerged, such as the direct method and the audiolingual method, which actually these methods are still being used today. We'll soon be discussing all of this later on. These methods were based on the idea that language could be learned through immersion and interaction. Immersion, you have to be there. You have to experience it firsthand for you to be able to learn it. Immersion and interaction. When you are immersed already, you need to interact. Okay? So, the 21st century, language evolving, new methods are being developed all the time, and there is a growing emphasis on communicative competence. Communicative competence is the ability to use language in real-world situations. It is. Have you tried engaging in tutoring? We have that in the Philippines. We have a lot of Korean. They hire Filipino teachers in English to tutor them. And communicative competence is when you teach that Korean, you have to bring him to the situations where he can communicate with you in the actual situation. And that is one method of learning a language. Okay? And that is actually what is happening right now. It's not that when you tutor somebody or when you help somebody learn a new language, you have to let him sit down and then you teach him, this is the verb, this is the subject, this is the noun. Then you put them together, then there you go. You have the message. Okay? Right? Oh, who's doing that? Oh, my friend, you come here. Let's learn English language. You memorize first the verb. And the structure, SVDO, SVO, subject, verb, agreement, subject, verb, object, subject, verb, direct, object. You'll be doing that? Of course not. You'll just be moving around with your friend, and then you speak to him in English, in the language that you wish him to learn. So you're not going to deal with The direct method of or structural method, you go to the structures and then later on you ask him to do some tasks about the structure and then later on, okay, you connect all those and then you come up with a single sentence for you to at least master that sentence and there you go. You start speaking the language. Okay? So that's enough for the history of that. Now we go to some theories on scholars on their concerns about the study of a language. Any question? Am I talking so fast? Am I shouting at you? Oh, yes. Okay. So, may I speak slowly? As if I am in a bedroom together with you? Would that be fine? I really cannot teach, especially in my classroom, that I don't know if I'm shouting already. Because you know, English is a boring class. Right? Do you love your English? Well, it's good for you. You are English student taking up English as your major. Correct. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Because in the Philippines, just like in the Philippines, our students there, once you teach English, they start yawning and then they really hate English language, English teaching, English learning. Just like others who hate math. Do you love math subject? You see that kind of reaction, right? Okay. So we have here some theories. We go first with Noam Chomsky. I wonder why I keep on perspiring, despite the fact that nothing is there above. Okay, Noam Chomsky is a linguist who is known for his theory of universal grammar. What is theory of universal grammar? Would you mind, to read?
He argued that all humans are born with an innate ability to learn language. The child is already equipped with the understanding of the basic structure of a language.
Your name?
After.
Okay. Did you hear that? Oh, good. So I need not to repeat it, okay? My apologies. It's quite difficult for me to be pronouncing actually names, and I hate to do that also if I mispronounce names. You know, our names is music to our ears, right? Once it's mispronounced, that's why, pardon me and please, my apologies. Okay, Noam Chomsky actually argued that we have already the innate ability for us to learn language. Why? When you were a kid and you were starting to listen to sounds, until at the age of 1, 2, dede. Do you have that term? Dede for the milk, right? And then other terms. And then it just came out naturally that you are already able to speak a language that nobody ever taught you to speak. Isn't it? Am I right? Correct. So Noam Chomsky's theory is correct. That we have already in us, we discussed on the other theories, they all refer to the same thing. That something is within us. It's innate. I mean, it's already a part of our body. If that is your hands and your feet, you don't have hair. That's a part of your body that it will simply and easily understand any language. But as you grow, if you're not going to develop that, definitely it won't grow. It won't be enhanced. So, Noam Chomsky is correct. How about the other theories? We have here Stephen Krashen. He is known for his theory of second language acquisition. And the same. He argued that language acquisition is a subconscious process that occurs when learners are exposed to the target language. Definitely, like when you were a baby or when you were a kid, at the age of 2, maybe, or 3, when you could start speaking a few words already, the age of 3. When you play with somebody who does not speak the same language that you speak, later on the following day, you are already speaking his language. Right? Yeah, because we have, yeah, I forgot. My apologies. I forgot to greet our listeners, our viewers from the Zoom. Yeah, my apologies. Good morning to those who are watching us or who join us or who are participating actually in the Zoom. Okay, so Stephen Krashen and Noam Chomsky, they are speaking of the ability for us, the innate ability. Noam Chomsky, inner. Stephen Krashen, you have the subconscious already. Where's your subconscious? What does your subconscious do to you? Automatically, you have. Do you have feeling of guilt once you did something wrong? Huh? When you said I hate you to your girlfriend, who has a girlfriend here? Girlfriend. Oh, is it a crime? Oh, why are you you are actually pointing at your neighbor? Why? You have somebody here, your crush, who will get mad. Okay. You have that guilt, and once you were able to do something wrong, and then, sorry with myself, I did that. Do you tend to experience that? Or no guilt at all? She deserves that. I hate her, really. No guilt at all? The subconscious mind, says Stephen Krashen, that once you are exposed to a new language, there is a 100% probability that you will be able to learn that language. This is correct. If I may be able to stay here for another month, maybe I would be able to greet you whenever I meet you outside in Bahasa, Indonesia. Correct? Yeah. Because for sure I will be exposed already as I move further from where I am. I could hear somebody speaking a language, and then definitely with the regular exposure to that language, you'll soon come to. Have you memorized my name? Huh? My name there? Oh, I'm sorry. Good for those people who are there at the back who cannot see actually my name. Okay, so aside from Noam Chomsky and Stephen Krashen, we have Skinner. We have Skinner, actually, he's a psychologist. And he actually theorized on the theory of operant conditioning. He argued that learning occurs. Well, this is a bit different. Reinforcement and punishment. Yeah. Once you do something wrong, you'll be punished. But once you do something good, what comes next? You will be rewarded. You look like you seem to be like a dog, right? You are training a dog to do something. Perspiring. It's a relief for me to be wiping out something that hinders the growth of something there above. Okay, reinforcement and punishment. So, in learning a language, the reward is, well, you're happy. You're able to speak a language. Correct? But the punishment is crucial. Why? Because I could hardly learn Bahasa language. That's the punishment. And says, F. Skinner, you need to punish your student if ever he cannot do that. Well, maybe his theory sprouted during a revolution era, during his time. That's why that influenced actually his theory on language teaching. Aside from the three, we have John Piaget. He is a Swiss psychologist who is known for his theory of cognitive development. So he argued that children learn through a process of active exploration and discovery. They learn and grow through a process of interaction with their environment. Similar with the other three, Jean Piaget says that once you are exposed to the language, regular exposure will help you learn that language. So almost all of them the same, correct? The only difference is they were phrased differently, their state. That is the difference. And aside from John Piaget, we have Vygotsky, a psychologist who is known for his theory of social learning. He argued that learning occurs through a process of interaction with their peers and adults. Would you be able to learn a language if you are only seated in your house watching movies, watching TV, watching Netflix, watching YouTube at home? Would you be able to learn a new language? How? Okay, yes. That is already what technology is teaching us. Just like my kids. They're still young. They were able actually, they don't have that accent, the English accent, the accent of the Americans. I just got amused actually when they spoke with me and they have that accent already, only to find out that the accent actually of I do not know that family that they are watching in YouTube. They're always vlogging that family. They have that vlog wherein they're doing something, the parents with the children, they play together and then they shoot it in the vlog and then they upload it in YouTube. And my kids are watching, always watching that. They're Americans. So they were able actually to absorb, to follow that kind of accent by those kids. You see? So technologically wise, not only socially or the community where you belong. Okay? So those are some of the theorists. Well, actually, we have a lot of theories. Well, maybe you can even theorize yourself how language teaching happens actually in your own area, in your own experiences. Correct? Yes, because these are just theories. So we go actually, how do you learn a language? Now you were able to listen to the theories of those scholars. Now, how do you learn a language? We have here, we have 5 actually. Grammar translation, direct method, audiolingual, communicative approach, task-based language teaching. Well, these are actually the methods being used before, and these are still being used today. Okay, we go to the first one. The first one is grammar translation method. This method focuses on teaching the learner the grammar and vocabulary of the target language. The learner is then given exercises to practice using the grammar and vocabulary they have learned. So actually, this is a method of those traditional teachers, the old teachers that we have before. Okay, the grammar translation that this is the new language. We focus on English language. You're given actually sentence, and then you check on the grammar, you translate it to the target language, and that's it. Grammar, grammar, grammar. Just like structures. Who cares about what is noun? What is a verb? May I ask you, do you know what a noun is? Have you been learning what a noun is when you were in the elementary and then when you were in the secondary or in your, how do you call that? Junior school, junior high? Oh, what is a noun? Oh, you forgot. So you're not into this method. What is a verb? Oh, you forgot also. Huh? These are parts of speech, correct? In the English language. That once you put them together correctly, appropriately, with their adjectives, with their adverbs, then you can come up with a good sentence with a good message. Okay? So grammar translation method. Well, actually, I just do not know, but never did I use this approach whenever I teach the English language. I'm just presenting to you the method that had been actually used. Another one is, direct method. This method focuses on teaching the learner to communicate in the target language from the very beginning. The learner is not taught the grammar of the target language explicitly, but rather implicit. What is explicit? What is implicit? Explicit direct method is you are being taught with the parts of speech. But implicitly, it's implied. This is a method wherein this is what tutors do. They invite their student to roam around, to talk with their peers. Their peers, let's say a Korean. They expose the Korean to the English speaking, to other English speaking students. Okay? So she will soon, or he will soon, or the Korean will soon be able to speak the language. Okay? Another one is, the third one is the audio lingual method. Teaching the learner to listen and speak the target language. The learner is given drills and exercises to practice listening and speaking. An audio video, what is this? Gadget. You listen. And then, just like what I'm sharing to you a while ago, my children who've been watching that YouTube, they keep on listening to that. And then later on, their accent changed. Then they were able to learn the language, which is correct. May I share to you which is also detrimental for the use of the technology nowadays. I'm just to share to you a fact, or I mean, an experience. I happen to have a friend who is a lawyer. The wife is also a lawyer. Whenever they go out, their child, who is 1 to 2 years old, is left with the maid, with the caretaker. And they bought actually a tablet for, the tablet for the kid. And the kid is always watching that Mickey Mouse, Tom and Jerry. Do you know that? How does Tom speak? How does Jerry speak? They don't speak, right? But they can emit sound. What sound? Cat. Right? And all of a sudden, at the age of 5, the kid finds difficulty in speaking. Cannot pronounce words. Why? Too much exposure to that Tom and Jerry. All he thought was that's normal for a human being to speak. So whenever he speaks, there. And it's quite difficult already for the parents to check on that. You see? Why are you giving a child or in that beyond the normal? I mean, you should when you want a kid to learn, you give him an encyclopedia. No, no, that's a different thing. You can let them watch those movies or shows for children, not for animals or for adults. Okay? So they will grow up naturally, normally at their pace. And that will actually teach them how to learn also the language. It's not that, oh, here. Well, they were so busy. So it's not just like for us, even for you. In the near future, when you find a job and you land into a family, you have a family, you let them grow, you let your children grow normally. And you have to always focus on them, especially so the technology nowadays has a great influence to the social being of the child. Why? They don't go out anymore. They just stay in their rooms or in the house playing with those gadgets. And it's not a normal development, a good development for children. Okay? So we have here another one is communicative approach. Hey, why did I nag-sleep? Wait. And I am talking in. Yeah. Okay. This method focuses on teaching the learner to communicate effectively in the target language. The learner is given tasks and activities that require them to use the target language. Here in the classroom, this is a classroom setting actually, being done by teachers. They let them, just like providing students with uh, an activity wherein they make use of the English language or the language that you are teaching them. You let them use the language correctly, of course, through those activities that you give them. So they communicate already. They make use of that already. Okay? So this is a classroom setup. Right? And the last one is we have the task-based language teaching. So it's a newer approach to language teaching that focuses on completing tasks in the target language. It involves using real-world tasks and activities. So this is still a classroom setting. You let your students do some activities relating to what is happening outside the classroom. Sometimes your students will enjoy doing something relative to what they are actually doing. If you are to give them an activity that they do not know, they never saw, they never did that, they won't enjoy that. So it's always a good thing for us whenever we give them activities. It's a real life situation always. They're real experiences. A student, whenever you ask him to relate his experiences, he will talk one whole day, correct? Yes. He will talk one whole day relating his experiences because everybody wants a listener, wants to be listened to. Right? Yes. So that is task-based language teaching. Which is number 3? Wait. Okay. So we learned those methods. For us to sum it up, to wrap it up, we have these methods shortened. We have the direct instruction, wherein the method involves teaching learners the rules of grammar and vocabulary directly. The one that we were discussing a while ago, that you need to present to them the structure of the language, the parts of speech and everything. Communicative approach is a very different approach because you let your students already speak the language, focuses on helping learners communicate effectively in the target language. You let them speak already, use the language directly, exactly as how they are used to, they are to use that language. You need not to go anymore into learning the structure of the language. How should it be? How should it shall be organized with the parts of speech? not anymore. Communicative. And the task-based learning, this method focuses on helping learners complete tasks in the target language. Okay? So those are the approaches and the methods. Now, we go to the perspective. Is it time, Ma'am Mila? Okay, good. So we have here some perspectives on language education in the modern times nowadays. This is what we view already on what language education is. We have communicative, just like the approach a while back. We have cognitive. We have the social cultural. We have the linguistic and the multilingual perspective. How do we view language? Number one, communicative. Sorry. I thought it's the Bluetooth. Well, that is technology. Okay, the communicative perspective, as I mentioned a while ago, views language as a tool for communication. So there is already the emphasis that the language actually that you are actually speaking is a tool for communication. Do you think so? Can you send a message without speaking, without doing the gesture, or without your phones or anything? So why do you think so that language is important, is necessary? Why? Why is language necessary to people? Will it help you grow taller? Will it help you grow your hair? I've been speaking the English language since when I started teaching. That was years ago. And what happened? Keeps on vanishing and vanishing. So my language is not helpful, right? But why? What is actually the reason why? Language is important. It is a tool for communication. Language. Well, anyway, what is language anyway? Is it only oral, verbal, you're speaking? What else? Non-verbal. What are those non-verbal languages? Gestures. Oh, others may be thinking, oh, can you actually relay a message without talking? The ladies, I know you are best in here. Can you show a gesture that you hate a man? Huh? Look in the eye and then how shall your eye dance? Will it be dancing or will it be? Huh? Oh. Or is it the men who know more of this kind of gesture? When you love somebody or to your crush, when you saw your crush, you happen to, let's say, walking along the lobby, and then you met your crush. How shall be the expression of your eyes? Or will there be expression anyway? Or will you feel that tool. Then you are actually exhibiting a language, right? You are already communicating something. So language is a tool to communicate. You use it for you to send a message, even without talking. If you are calling for somebody else, you may, right? That's a different thing. How are you going to call for somebody else? I think it's in the Middle East, wherein they get offended whenever they do that. Okay? I do not know for you. You have the culture. You have to, when you are calling for them, you have to do that. Yeah. It's an insult for you to be doing like this. But for Koreans, right? It's okay. Well, cultural differences. Okay? So the focus of communicative perspective is teaching learners how to use the language to communicate effectively in real life situations already. So let them be exposed in a real life situation, how they're going to communicate already. Just like what I did a while ago. When I ask you something, I never taught you, I did not teach you on which one are you going to, or which word are you going to utter first. Did I? No. Right? Yes. So I simply let you communicate what you have with me. That is a communicative perspective. And the emphasis is not on grammar rules or vocabulary memorization, but on developing language skills that are useful in daily communication. My advice to you, my dear students. Whenever you meet, never memorize vocabularies. Are you doing that? You list down whenever you encounter a new English word, and then you list down everything. Then you review. These are my new English words. Never memorize it. You use it. Especially so in doing your homeworks, right? When you are asked to write an article, then you go back to your collection of vocabulary. You use them. Do not memorize. Okay. Facade. It's actually the front structure of tuba tuba. You need not to memorize those. You have to use it for you to be able to have a clearer understanding on that. Because, memorization, just like what most students do, they memorize that for today. And after 2 days, you ask them again the same question, and poof, it went off their mind. No more answers. You see? Okay. So practice it, use it, make use of those vocabularies. Another one is cognitive perspective. What's cognitive perspective? It is the mental processes involved in language learning. Whenever you talk, are you using your mind first? Or do you use your mind first before your mouth will open? Or is your mouth connected to your brain? May I ask? Huh? Or your mouth has its own brain and it will without even thinking that you are actually insulting somebody else because you keep on talking and talking and talking. Huh? Okay. So mental processes, it has to work first in your mind before it goes to your mouth, out from your mouth. The focus is on developing learners' critical thinking skills, problem solving skills, language awareness. There, critical thinking. Okay? Because of the processes. And the goal is to help learners become more proficient in the language through a deeper understanding of its structure and use. Okay? So that is cognitive perspective. But we usually do this. do we really need to process? Just like when you answer me yes or no, before saying yes, do you still have to think that yes should be the answer? Okay. So it's not, excuse me, not all the time actually. Wherein because sometimes it's a manifestation of a clear reaction whenever our brains or our minds are triggered to react, right? Then unknowingly, ah, did I say that? Correct? Do you love me? Said your boyfriend. Are your ex-boyfriend? Ah, yeah, 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 yeah. Hey, wait, did I say that? You answered him already. Yes, you love him. But upon actually figuring out, analyzing, evaluating everything, I come to say that I don't love you. What a tragic moment for the guy. Okay. The goal of cognitive perspective, again, is to help learners become more proficient in the language through a deeper understanding of its structure and use. Do you have actually words? I guess yes. All cultures, I guess they have this. There are words that you cannot use in a certain situation. There are words that you only use for this situation. Do we have words that you cannot, you may use it on this situation, but you cannot use it on that situation? Are there words? Would you mind to give me an example? Huh? Do we have something that just like your songs for birthday? You cannot sing that one during funeral. Isn't that? So there are words that are appropriate to one setting different from the other setting. Correct? Yes. So you have to process it. Your mind should process those first. Another one is social cultural. With respect to your culture, to your social belongingness. So this perspective sees language as a social and cultural phenomenon. It is the creation actually of your social community, of your social belongingness to where you are and to the culture that you are practicing. Javanese. Do you have practices which are actually different from Bahasa people? Are there other Bahasa people, those people who really speak only Bahasa? Do we have? Or the Javanese are different from, what's your language again? Java? What's other language aside from Java? Madris. Am I right? Do you share the same culture, the same practices? Do you have the same practices? Tradition? Do you have the same? Different, correct. If you notice, with people with different language, they have different culture, they have different practices, they have different tradition from that of the different language. Correct? Because language goes with culture. Right? Tama? Tama in Tagalog is correct. How about in Bahasa? Ah? Ala? Huh? So you're not Bahasa? She's in conflict with the others. Maybe she's studying the language. No? Okay. So the focus of sociocultural perspective is on the role of language in shaping individuals' cultural identity and their relationships with others. So From the socio-cultural perspective, it says that, well, the language actually helps in shaping the culture of the people. If our bahasa, you have that bahasa culture, or Maduris, you have that culture, different culture, and it shapes. Suppose you are no longer to speak that Maduris, what will happen to your culture? Will you still be practicing the same? Because you are not speaking already their language. Do you think you still perform their culture, their practices? Definitely not anymore. Because as we say, language goes with the culture. Language is in the culture. Who has a culture that has no language? Who has a culture different to that culture but with similar language? None. Do we have? Like for you, Bahasa, I am an Ifugao. Do we share the same? You see? So, once you forget your language and do not speak it anymore, definitely you are not practicing also the culture that goes along with the language. Do you think so? Yes. So, socio-cultural perspective, that is how this socio-cultural perspective views language in the cultural setting. Okay. And the fourth one, we have linguistic perspective. Here, we go back again to last 5 minutes. Okay. Anyway, I only have how many slides now? Okay, takes more technical approach to language education. Technical approach meaning learners about the structure of the language and its syntax, morphology, and phonology. How these words are being used. So very technical. The linguistic perspective is very much technical, similar to the methods like the grammar translation method, the direct method, except of course for the communicative approaches. For the goal, it is to help learners become more skilled at decoding and producing language and to develop an understanding of how language works. Well, that's the perspective of that linguistic. That's the view of linguistic perspective. That you can learn better, you can actually understand how language works if you are going to know more about the structure of the language. It says there that you need to study first the structure. You need to understand first before you can speak clearly the language. And the last one, we have the multilingual perspective. I was asking you a while ago how many languages do you speak? But it turned out that only 2 languages, right? Your national language and your local language, or your mother tongue. We call it mother tongue. Okay? So the multilingual perspective focuses on encouraging learners to develop proficiency in multiple languages. Would you like to know more the language of your neighboring province or region than learning French, learning Spanish, learning Korean, Arabic? Yeah. You rather choose learning those foreign language than your neighboring region, correct? Yes. Why? Social stability. What do I mean? You look so, what? You look, what is that? How are you going to say it? More potent, more legit to be speaking French? Bonjour. Right? Because once you are speaking that language, she had been to France. France is her second home. Okay. So The goal of multilingual perspective is to help learners become multilingual and to appreciate the richness and diversity of human languages. What is the very reason why you want, I'll use the term want to learn other languages? Is it actually for you to appreciate that there is a diverse family of languages that I need to learn? I need, at least when I reach the age of 30, do we have 30 years old already here? When I reach the age of 30, I could already speak around 20 languages. That includes Korean. What would be the reason why you need to study that? Are you interested anyway? I guess not. The very reason is for communicative competence, right? Because once you go to Korea or once you go to France, you won't get lost. You could simply communicate with them. You could simply listen to what they are saying and the appreciation actually I doubt. Do you appreciate learning more languages? Let's be practical. Let's be true to ourselves that we only use language in communication. Right? Except, of course, you want to become a theorist, just like Noam Chomsky and the rest, that, okay, this is the study that I wish to have for this language. But before I do this, I need to be speaking around 20 languages already for me to be called really a language theorist. Okay? So, I guess I have no more slides. So I just say, language is the tool, communication is the message. That is from Marshall McLuhan. Language is the message. Language is the tool, communication is the message. Because we only use language to deliver the message that we wish to deliver. Why do you talk? Because you want them to hear your message. Okay? So thank you very much. This is Richard from the Philippines. Thank you for joining me this morning.
I hope, Mr. Richard, I hope you don't mind to have some time to question and answer with the audience. Any questions? Yeah, we have two students, okay, maybe here.
Okay, introduce me. My name is Fania Claresta Atia. You can call me as Fania. I'm from English department. I have a question. If we talk about language, is sign language needed when we want to teach someone about a certain language that we have in order that person will understand easily about language that we are going to teach them. So is the sign language really needed? That's my question. Thank you.
Yeah. You know, sign language actually assists you, guide you, and help you in teaching another language, because first and foremost, we come to learn more. We come to understand better the message from the sign language, especially so if we do not speak the same language. We do the sign language, and the message is clearer, comes to us clearer, then followed by the target language that you wish to teach them. So it's of great help actually to do sign languages. It will assist you. It will help you in teaching other languages, because it's quite difficult. They really do not know the language, and you keep on talking and talking and talking. But you have to guide yourself also to look for something that will aid, that will be in aid with your teaching strategy. And sign language is one.
Hope that answer. Next one.
Okay, so my name is Hanim Pratiwi. I'm from English Education Department, sir. My question is, what if we lost interest in learning a foreign language except English, because I'm English student? So what is your motivation for that problem if we lost interest in learning foreign language?
On how to motivate you to learn English language. Other foreign languages. Well, you know, as you will soon be teachers, and you will soon be experiencing also the loss of interest of your students to what you are teaching, regardless of the subject that you are teaching, even math, even social sciences or what. As a teacher, you should know how to strategize. It's not that there is a perfect strategy that you will say that okay, for you to have a better strategy for your students not to lose their interest in learning, that is, this is what you're going to, I will be buying some food for you or what. No, you can think of other measures, other techniques that that's just but normal for students. As I was sharing to you a while ago, my student or some Filipino students, they lost interest actually in learning the English language when English subjects schedule, they find difficulty in going to their classroom. So that's loss of interest already. That's a manifestation of loss of interest already for the students, or they will drop. So as a teacher, do not insist on your strategy only or on how good are you in teaching English. You should think of, let's focus our strategy to our learners. Let's say if they don't have interest, then you go to other measures, like you make it simpler. Do not you already see them that they find difficulty dealing with that, and then you add more activities and activities and activities. No, that will not actually help them. Okay, you focus on one activity, and then once they cannot do for that activity, you stay on that activity, and then you provide better strategies. You simplify it actually for them to better understand it, and then try to associate it with what is happening to him or to his real experience. Oh, let's say we have here an activity that they are going to write on. I have nothing to write. I do not know what to write. I do not know. I don't have anything. Okay, and then you help him. And then you say, okay, what did you do last summer? What did you do last December? Or do you know how to do this? Okay, tell me. You write it. Right? So it would be simpler for them to be recollecting what happened. And that's it. They already started writing, and they will now try to figure out how to phrase that in the target language that you wish them to learn. Right? Did I share a piece of cake for that?
Thank you very much. Well, yes, one more.
Thank you for the attention. My name is Catherine. Sometimes I have a struggle to communicate in English. Um, Before I speak, I always think about the grammatical, and I'm afraid is it correct or not for everyone that listens me. And it's a question: how does study grammatical for non-native speaker improve their fluency? Is it useful for use grammatical and for learning fluency? Thank you.
Did I get it right? That you, yeah, you learn grammar first for you to be able to learn the language. Okay. When we say importance, it is always important to learn the grammar. But the method that we are using should not should not be idle in grammar method only. Once we have already uh, given you the structure. Okay, this is the structure of the English language. Never focus already on only use that method. You have to, because definitely how shall you do it if you do not, although it's secondary, I should say, but it's not the focus. You rather have communicative approaches rather than that grammar. You expose yourself by using, even when you're alone. You try to speak the language. You try to motivate yourself. You speak always, you always use that. Just like my students in Ifugao State University, wherein inside the classroom, even when speaking to their classmates, they make use of English. They always use that. They always do that. Uh, in reference to your question that grammar, shall I? It's always good to know the structure first also, so that for you to have at least a clearer understanding, because it's really very, especially the English language, wherein the English people themselves could not understand their structure. So how much for us that English is our second language. So I guess it's good for you to at least learn the structure, but not focus on it. You communicatively use the language. You practice it. Regular use will help you. Regular practice will help you perfect the speaking of the language. I said exposure because if ever that you do not use that language, how would you be able to speak that? Even if you know all the grammar, all the structure, all the parts of the speech without using it. Did I answer your question?
Thank you very much. Let's give applause to Mr. Richard. Thank you, Mr. Richard, for sharing the notes on language and education. I guess now the students are more familiar with what is the origin of the language teaching that they are right now learning. So it can help them build stronger fundamental to the understanding. Thank you very much. Now, let's move on to our second speaker. We will have Ibu Anita Fatimatul Laili, MPD. She is the lecturer of English language education, but I believe she has not taught in your classes. No, no, she hasn't. So I think this is the first time for her to be speaking in front of you, and she will be delivering about reading digital literacy, which is a little more specific than our previous keynote, which was about language and education. I will talk more about how to learn reading, especially in this 21st century. Bu Anita Fatimatul Laili, the time is yours.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Yeah, actually, just now Ibu Kaprodi has introduced me that I am one of your lecturer. But maybe in reality, you never met me before because of a certain condition that I cannot officially teach you. But hopefully today, I will give you some information on a topic that I really interested. Actually, I'm interested in discussing this topic, and I think it's still relevant to you as a future teachers. Yeah. in language education. Okay, I just know we have a very nice discussion about language education, the perspective of language education. And now, as you read in the slide, so for today, I'm going to give you the information or the discussion about digital reading literacy as the new literacy in English language teaching. You know that uh, you are as a future teacher. Of course, you need to know what should you do with your students in helping them in providing them some activities that could improve their skills, of course, in language teaching, in language skills, and particularly in reading. Okay, let's come to this. Okay. Now, so there will be three main topics that I'm going to discuss with you for today. The first one will be about what is digital reading literacy. I will talk about the concept of digital literacy itself and the definition of digital literacy, and the last, the challenges of digital reading or digital text. The second topic that I'm going to discuss about literacy in reading digital text or reading online. This is the most important thing that you need to know, I think, as a future teacher. And the last one, not only English language teachers, yeah, but also Indonesian language teachers, yeah, because here we have the peer service teacher from PBSI, so from Guru Bahasa Indonesia. You also need to know about this, what kind of literacy that you need to provide the students when you give them a reading comprehension skill in today's digital era. Yeah. And the last one, I will give you some guided practices for reading digital text in the classroom. So this is a specific practices that maybe could that could give you inspiration to adopt it as your activity in providing the student for online reading comprehension. Okay, guys, we come to the first one. What is digital reading literacy? But before, I also forget that this is hybrid activity. So I say hello to everyone in Zoom room. Hopefully that you are going well now, and maybe you have lunch in your place. You may have your lunch in the place, but for you now in this room, please do not have your lunch. Yeah, yet after this you can have your lunch. Well, so what is digital reading literacy? Okay, let's come to the first one. Yes. So the development of technology in the 21st century learning bring great changes into our reading activity, into our language education. Yeah. One of it is the use of the internet. Yeah. The use of the internet in which, since the internet provides digital-based information of very huge information, so that our reading activity has shifted from reading printed text to reading digital text. This situation has emerged a new literacy that needs to be given in online reading comprehension. But before I'm going to talk about what is digital reading literacy, first we need to have a clear definition of what is digital text actually. So for that one, I want you to participate in having or in sharing your idea. Can we have Mentimeter for now? Do you have your internet connection here, guys? Okay, in the participant in Zoom, you also may participate with this. So I invite you to share your idea, to share your knowledge about what is digital text in your opinion. You can have Mentimeter and you can use this code 32019490. So what is digital text in your opinion? Because we need to have a clear definition on this one before we are going to move what is digital reading literacy. So any idea that comes to your mind when you listen or read the word digital text? What is in your opinion on that? Okay, identically with online reading, yeah. While waiting for others, give them their opinion in the menti.com. Okay, not really works. I think reading digital can be effective, but yeah, we can still wait. Some of you give your opinion. What is digital text? Okay, we still have time. 2 more minutes, yeah. The participant in the Zoom, you can also participate in this mentimeter.com. You can give your idea what is digital text in your opinion. Do we have a good internet connection here? Boo? Yeah, okay, good. Oh, this one. Visual information, interpreting, reading digital. Okay, maybe more. Okay, I will give an opportunity to one of you. It's okay, although you do not give your opinion in English, maybe you can give in Indonesia. Is it okay, Bu? Okay. What's your name? Salah nggak dihukum, kalau benar nanti dikasih satu apa namanya, satu edamame gitu aja ya. Digital text, pernah dengar nggak sebelumnya? Yeah. What about this class? That we can access in the website for example, and we can read the text in everywhere with every time that we want to. Okay, so a text that we can have it, we can read it everywhere that we want, yeah, and we can access anywhere we want and we read it. Is that true? Do you have any more ideas about that? No? Okay. So yeah, we have here easy to read. So digital text is easy to read, and also reading using a device, yeah. And we also have in here about reading online. Digital text is a reading online. So what we focusing is actually the kind of the text. Remember that I have told you just now that because of the use of internet, since internet provides various information, even a huge information that we can have while surfing the internet, so that the impact is our reading activity has shifted from reading printed text to reading digital text. So that's why I need you to clearly define what is digital text, because it's also interesting. In 2020, I also have a previous study about this. I asked some of teacher professional, professional teacher in service teacher that join professional development or PPG. Then I asked them, what is digital text? And yes, some of their answer mostly focusing on digital text is while we read a text using certain multimodal text or using a certain media such as your handphone or your Kindle, or maybe your computer. Only few of them have defined a clear definition about what is digital text. Okay, thank you for your participation in the Mentimeter, guys. Well, this one is based on my research that I did in 2020. So some of them, some of the in-service teachers said that uh, digital text is reading using tools, as you said, as your friend said just now. Or this is only the shift from reading paper-based text to electronic text. So when we read PDF, we read a text in Word file, so it is called digital text. Or reading digital text, reading ebook or text through online platform. Yeah. So this is also the answer that in-service teacher give. But yes, are they wrong or correct answer? Yeah, they still have misinterpretation in defining what is digital text. So digital text is not only focusing on a text, a text that you have moved from the paper-based text into the digital one or into the electronic devices. No, it's not only that. But digital text is online internet sources that allow you as the reader to read the hypertext information in also reading multiple webs or links or notes. So not only when, for example, you have a book, previously you have the paper book, then after that, because now you have your e-reader, for example, or you have your smartphone, then you have it, this soft file, so it's called digital text. So it's not only limited on that, because what we need is also reading multiple sources in the internet. So while you are reading multiple sources in the internet, the sources that you have read or the sources that you have found, the information that you have found, it's called digital text. The text that you found that you find in the internet sources could be very very various, could be in the form of paragraphs, could be in the form of graphs, could be in the form of pictures, charts, and etc. And yet it needs your literacy. It needs your new literacy in having more understanding to evaluate and also to interpret the information that you have. So based on that, we can define digital literacy is the ability required to read within links or hyperlinks, search various information stores or web, and the combination of multiple media text. Because when you have a definition of digital text only moving from paper-based text into the soft file text, so you don't need any literacy there. I mean, you don't need any new literacy there. Why? Because you only need the traditional cognitive strategy when you read the paper-based text. Why? Because you only focusing only a single text, right? You only need to have your traditional cognitive strategy. It means that the reading strategy that you have before. But when you read in multiple sources, then when you want surfing in a very huge data in the internet, right? You can have you can find any answer in the Google, right? You can find anything in the Google. Sometimes you have a term like when you don't know something, just ask Google. It knows everything, right? Even your teacher sometimes doesn't know, but Google know it. But then, do we only need that? Do we only need to know how to find the main idea of the text in the reading text? No, because today it has shifted, because you are not only working in the single text, but you are working in multiple texts from multiple sources. So that's why the literacy need to be moved also. Okay. Next, I will talk about the theoretical perspective in digital reading literacy. So there are three main theoretical perspectives associated with digital reading literacy. The first one is the literacy itself, and the second one, the technology, and the third one is the learning itself. So those three theoretical perspectives are associated in having what we call digital reading literacy. So let's talk about the perspective one by one. In the perspective of literacy, reading is viewed as a constructive and making meaning process. Readers interact with the text to construct meaning effectively. In this process, mostly a reader uses their cognitive processing by asking the questions, by connecting the information, yeah, or making inference. And sometimes in this process, reader try to read and also interpret, evaluate the information to answer the task. Then literacy nowadays, of course, will be different with literacy yesterday. So that's why we need the perspective of the technology. In the perspective of technology concerning with digital text, it is mastering the new literacy that developed along with the development of technology. So that's why I have taught you just now that literacy yesterday could be different with literacy today. Why? Because it should be moved along with the development of the technology. As I told you just now that usually we read in paper text only a single text, but nowadays we could read many more texts, multiple texts within multiple sources, only in one time. Kalau dulu mungkin satu persatu, satu buku selesai, besok buku yang lain gitu ya Mbak ya, kadang Mas ya. Kalau sekarang sekali buka web, berapa teks yang Anda baca? Nah, it will be different literacy that you need to, that you need to improve. Yes, your student next, your future student also need to be provide this kind of activities. And then the third perspective is about learning. Traditionally, in the printed text, remember that printed text and digital text necessitate different cognitive process. In printed text, we only need traditional cognitive process or cognitive strategy, but in online reading, it is not insufficient. Yeah, remember, we still need the traditional cognitive strategy in reading for reading online text, but it's not sufficient. So we need what we call cognitive flexibility. So what is cognitive flexibility? It requires reader to use past knowledge flexibly within the context of multiple texts from different source or hypertext available on internet. Your past knowledge is needed, yeah, to make a judgment what to read, yeah, what kind of text that you need to read, yeah. Or when or where you need to more access to the various information or various sources in order you have more information on it. So that's why the cognitive flexibility is needed in online reading or in digital literacy. But however, this digital literacy or online reading have challenges. There are, for example, the first one, internet over vast volumes of information. So that you are as readers must be able to quickly evaluate whether a site will be useful. Any one of you want to share? Have you ever waste your time? Yeah, have you ever waste your time reading only single text when you find it in a single website? Have you ever have that experience? And then after that, after an hour, when you read all of them, then in the fact, it is not relevant to the topic that you are going to take. Have you ever experienced that? Yes? Pernah mengalami begitu, Mas, Mbak? Jadi pernah membaca satu teks ya, entah itu di satu jurnal mungkin atau di sebuah website, biasanya blog misalkan, baca sampai akhir sampai 1 jam, setelah itu ternyata setelah dibaca semua ini atau sumber ini tidak bukan yang kita inginkan atau yang bukan yang kita butuhkan. Pernah merasa pernah mengalami begitu? Sering. Nah, tiap hari. That's why you need to be quickly evaluate. Yeah, you need that ability to evaluate quickly. So next, I will tell you how to do it. So in order you are not wasting your time reading deeply, you need to be quickly evaluate whether this text or whether this information is the information that you need. So you need to come to evaluate quickly. And that's the challenge. And the second one, the information is not fact checked. You know that a great deal of information in online is not fact-checked or is published by a source that may not be reliable. Have you ever got hoax message? Yes, sering ya. Sering nggak dapat kabar hoax gitu atau dapat informasi ternyata nggak bener nggak valid nih. Ada, pernah, hah? Sering ya, mostly gitu ya, mostly. And that's what online reader now need to evaluate. We need to improve our interpretation and our evaluation to check whether the information that we have got from the source, yeah, one of the source or multiple sources is valid or not, is credible or not. The next one, online reading is a generally non-linear. Online readers rarely have just one text in front of them. A web page often presents multiple texts, pictures, video, or advertisement. And yes, advertisement always distract us in having or in serving some information that we need. Pernah nggak ngikutin link yang disarankan? Sering ya? Sering nggak ke distract seperti itu? Sering sekali ya. Ya, itu salah satu hal yang memang menantang ya. Tantangan yang paling berat adalah di sana. Apalagi, for example, the headline is very clickbait. Biasanya gitu kan katanya ya. Kalau di YouTube kan gitu ya namanya, clickbait. Ternyata the information that is provided that is not the information that we need. And yes, it will distract us also the focus on having reading online. Apalagi ada Shopee gitu ya. Lazada gitu, sering berarti masnya ya. Sering. Habis itu nggak ngerjain tugas ya. Nggak jadi ngerjain tugasnya ya, nggak jadi kan gitu. So it needs your self-regulation ya. How to focus on having your tasks ready, completing your tasks. Karena kan sering, kalau mahasiswa sering sekali ya. You find some information or some sources in the internet to answer the task that is given by the lecturer, right? But sometimes you mostly lost your time because you do not know which kind of information that you want to read, because you do not know which kind of sources that is valid, that is a credible sources. So that's why for today, I will give you some information on that. And this is also information that you need to give to your future student next as a future teacher. Nah, nanti sebagai guru juga gitu, you need to integrate this kind of literacy. Bu, nanti kan saya bahasa Indonesia bukan bahasa Inggris. Nah, emang bahasa Indonesia juga nggak butuh informasi di internet gitu. Kan butuh juga. Apalagi teman-teman yang as a future English teacher ya. Ya of course lah ya. Amin semoga ya Mbak. Okay, so next. So what are the literacy in digital text or online text? The first one, this one, the ability to identify important questions. The ability to identify important questions. Remember that reading on the internet is to solve the problem and to answer questions. That is your purpose, right? That is your main goal in reading the internet, reading the information in the internet. But you need to have the ability to evaluate, or you need to have the ability to find what is the keyword actually that you want to answer. Because this keyword will help you to find the exact information while you are surfing the internet. So, how you understand the instruction, how you find how you understand the instruction, it will depend on how you find the keyword in the instruction. Because sometimes when you have, for example, okay, please find the information about how to teach listening in online class. But after that, you do not know what kind of keyword that you want to put in the browser. Sometimes when you have failed in inserting the relevant keyword, it will lead you to another information that is not relevant. And yes, it will waste your time again and again. So that's why the first thing that you need to remember when you have online reading, first one, please try to evaluate or identify what kind of keyword or what kind of topic that you need to find the information. So you need to understand the instruction given by the lecturer and are given in the talks. And the second one is reading online to locate information. This is also some of our our problems, yeah, in having reading the internet. You need to critically component of successful internet reading is the ability to read and locate the information that meets one needs. For example, just now when you want to put the browser, then you need to find which kind of information that you want to open first. Because when you put the keyword in the browser, after that it will give many suggestions of information. But then you need to evaluate which kind of information that you need to open first. Okay. Usually, what did you do when you have, for example, listening online class? Then you have 10 suggestions in the browser, right? Then those 10 suggestions, which first that you want to open? The first suggestion, or you read the descriptions first? What did you usually do? You read the description first, then if it relates to your topic, then you will open it. Not only the first suggestion, yeah. Okay, that's good. Because sometimes you know that if you open one by one, then you read deeply, then you will waste your time again. Remember that sometimes not all of the information that is suggested relevant to your topic. So you need the ability to locate, yeah, to navigate your reading and your searching in online. And the next one is reading online to critically evaluate information. This is it. Did you evaluate information that you have found in the internet? Do you always do that? Yes or no? Or you can directly take it and put it, just put that in your text, yeah? You take it and put that in your text without any more critical evaluation whether this is the exact the exact information that you need and whether there is no contradiction with the other sources, for example. Yeah. So that you need to critically evaluate the information. Because you know that, as I told you just now, that more people can virtually upload all the information, but sometimes the sources, yeah, the webs do not have a filter whether, or maybe they do not evaluate first. You just can publicly share what you have. It's just like a video, right? And then the next one is the next literacy that you need to have, synthesizing the information online. Remember that the ability to read and synthesize information from multiple sources is really needed, because you do not only working in only single text, but you are working many texts from multiple sources. So that's why you need to synthesize the information. Do not only just put, okay, from this website, I have this kind of information. Then you put it in the tag. And the second website said this, then you put it again in the tag. And the third information this, and you put it again in the tag. Then you do not decide. So what is actually the information that you got from those three different multiple sources? So you need to decide. Nggak pernah mencoba. Iya. This is also our problem, ya, because remember now as the 21st century learners, you need a collaboration with other people around the world. You could also discuss with them, yeah. You could also discuss with them publicly. I know that maybe you only discuss with your friend in a group of WA gitu ya. In a small group of WA gitu. But you even do not discuss with your friend in the other university, even in this country or another country. But actually you need to do that and share your ideas also publicly. Then I come to the last because the time also rush, yeah. Then the guided practice for digital reading in the text classroom, in the classroom. So what you need to do, you can list, yeah, you can list the term, yeah, or what kind of information that you need. So for example, you have a task like this. Okay, please find how to teach listening online. So at first, in order you do not wasting the time, you can list the information that you need to answer the task or the term that you think it's relevant, yeah, to the topic that you are going to answer. So you can list first all the information that you need or the term that's relevant to your topic. And then the next one, the activity that you can provide for your students is evaluating the usefulness of the text based on the reading purposes. So you can have this kind of table in which the first you can write what is the main topic of the text that you have read just now. Yeah. And then the second one, what the author said about that kind of topic. So for example, just now you say how to teach online, how to teach listening online, for example. That's the main topic. And how the author say about this topic from the text that you have gotten from the internet. Then you can put the source and you can evaluate whether it is fact or only opinion. Do you know that how to distinguish between fact and opinion? You can see how the writer how the writer proposed the idea, whether it is based on their experience or maybe it is only an opinion they do not have implemented before, for example. So you can have this kind of table to identify or to evaluate whether this topic is useful for you, this text is useful for you or not. This text is needed for your answer to the text or not. And then the next activity that you can provide is how to determine the credibility of the source. You can you can have this guided question. The first one, you can ask yourself whether the information is accurate or not. Yeah, whether the information that you give to them that is given to you is accurate or not. How do you know about this? Of course, you can compare this with your own knowledge before because you have the knowledge actually, right? So you can use your past knowledge to what's that? To evaluate, and also, of course, you can have another sources to evaluate whether the information is accurate or not. And the next one is the author have an authority on the object? Whether they have the authority to say this? So for example, there is an announcement, tomorrow is off, for example. Then you need to know who said that. Whether this person have authority to do that. If it's only me, maybe not. Why? Because I'm not Kaprodi, for example. But if it is stated by Bumila as the Kaprodi, as the chief of English department, for example, maybe it will be credible, yeah. Or maybe by Pak Anam, for example, as the secretary, it could be that credible. Why? Because they have the authority to say that. Besok libur ya. Nah, kalau temennya yang ngomong jangan percaya. Kalau temennya yang bilang jangan percaya. One, does the author bring any bias in the posting of the information? You can evaluate that. And the next one, is information current or timely, or maybe it is out of date. It is not relevant enough with the issue today, for example. So you need to also ask that question to you. And the last one, how does the information compare with sources in the same topic? So that's why you need to synthesize and compare and evaluate between one information to another information from multiple sources. And the last one, you need to synthesize the information. How to synthesize it? You can use this kind of table. Yeah. So the first source, what is the key point, and what is your comment on that? And then what is the question raised after you read those tasks? Then after that, you can synthesize from this kind of information that you have put from this table. This is how to synthesize information. Ya, jangan langsung ini ambil taruh gitu ya, tanpa disintesis terlebih dahulu. And then the last one, you need collaboration. So you need to discuss with others online and also write a publication such as blog, articles, books, or video. You can share your idea after you have read a lot of information from those multiple sources in the internet. Well, it will be my last PPT, yeah. It will be my last PPT. Then the last one, this is from the URL. It says that the internet is not, it's a literacy issue, not a technology issue. So internet is not only technology issue, but it is a literacy issue. So that's why you need to provide a new literacy in reading comprehension in your reading class. Okay, thank you very much. That's all from me.
Thank you very much, Ibu Anita. I hope everyone can learn what is a topic. Maybe we can have question and answer after the last speaker. All right. This is just to emphasize, actually what she's delivered will be very useful for not only your classroom task, but also your doing your final report. That is your thesis. Ya, jadi cara bagaimana read something effectively, efficiently dengan cara yang tadi Bu Anet sudah sampaikan bisa sangat berguna ketika kalian sudah berskripsi agar tidak terlena pada clickbait yang ada. Alright, now we have come to our last speaker. She is the head of Indonesian Language and Education, Indonesian Language Literature Education. Oh iya, Indonesian Literature and Education, PBSI maksud saya ya, Pendidikan Bahasa dan Sastra Indonesia. Let's welcome Ibu Dr. Astri Widyaruli. Ibu, the time is yours.
Okay. Hi. Hello. Okay. I'm the last speaker and I hope you are not tired or sleepy yet, okay? Tapi selalu saya bilang, kalau sudah di kelas itu, kalau ketika lagi ngajar nih ya, awal-awalnya suaranya enak ya. But if you listen my voice like a bee, zzz, gitu ya, please raise hand. Okay, I will stop my presentation. Okay, guys, I'm so sorry if my English is not good, but I want to share about you all about the reconstruction of the cultural meaning of a multi-ethnic society about pendalungan. Okay, okay, next. If we are talking about the multicultural or multiculturalism, okay, if you are talking about the multicultural or multiculturalism, these three introductions are important points in explaining the notion of multiculturalism. Okay, wait a minute. Can you help me to share my PowerPoint, please? Not yet? Ini kita bicara sedikit soal pendalungan ya teman-teman ya. Jadi kalau yang di bahasa Indonesia ini karena ada teman-teman dari PBSI yang mengikuti mata kuliah pendahuluan, jadi ini juga penting juga buat teman-teman nantinya ya. Giliran saya trouble ya dia. Jadi benar-benar suara saya udah kelihatan kedengaran udah kayak bi ya berarti ya. Berarti harus di stop ini. Oke. Okay, guys, these are three introduction, and this condition can be found in various multicultural countries around the world. One of which is Indonesia, of course. Indonesia is a country that has various culture, okay? Since the stipulation of Jember as an independent agency, there has been a wave of population migration from multi-ethnic groups. Now, each of these ethnic groups is Maduris and Javanese as the majority ethnic groups. Maduris and Javanese develop their own culture so that acculturation occurs with is known as pendalungan, right? Okay, you know that in Jember Agency, I can say that is an area whose development is very fast with the construction of various infrastructure in Jember and the migration of multi-ethnic population, both from Javanese, Maduris, and other multi-ethnics. Yeah. On the other hand, the large number of plantation commodities has encouraged the arrival of workers to the name is a tapal kuda, tapal kuda area. One of which is Jember, and the world is dominated by Madur's people, of course, we know that, and bring their culture, especially in the field of the language and art. Jadi hari ini khusus di budaya pendalungan ini kita mencoba untuk mengenali tentang bahasa dan juga kesenian dari budaya pendalungannya tersebut ya. Yang paling mendominasi adalah jelas suku Madura dan suku Jawa. The Maduris and Javanese immigrant at the time brought and developed their original culture, causing cultural acculturation to occur, the result of which was called Pandalungan. Now the reason for the creation of Pendalungan is the balance between Javanese and Maduris people. In general, the Pendalungan community in Jember can be found in the central area. Kita bisa lihat di situ banyak etnis yang ada di Kabupaten Jember ya teman-teman ya. Ada Madura, Jawa, Osing, Tionghoa, Sunda, dan etnis lainnya. Oke, kalau udah siang-siang kayak gini nih aku nampilkan gini tuh kayaknya rasa bersalahku besar banget deh. Dosa saya kayaknya gede banget ya. Ini salah satu budaya pendalungan juga loh ya. In this case, for the example, a case of the culinary specialty of the Pendalungan community, namely is sego jagung. Nah, ngono, ngomongnya juga harus pakai medok ngono ya, sego jagung ngono ya. Sego jagung, sego jagung is identified as culinary for the lower class society. However, along with the development of the time, sego jagung is now used as a culinary food or culinary serve in a festival or culinary fest intended as a menu for tourists visiting the Pendalungan area. Nah, kayaknya saya nggak usah berlama-lama deh kalau sego jagung ini ya. Rasa bersalah saya kayaknya gede banget deh ya. Apalagi ada gambarnya gini ya. Oke, next. Yang Budaya pendalungan lain laginya nih teman-teman yang lain nih. Pasti kenal dong ya. Can macan kadu. Benar nggak sih saya ininya spellingnya? Can macan salah. Can macan kadu. Kadu. Can macan kadu. Can macan kadu. Mr. Richard, can you spell this? Can macan kadu.
Can macan kadu.
Can macan kadu. Ya, can macan kadu. Saya nggak pasti ya, mohon maaf ya. Can macan kadu ini was adapted from the Madurese language. Okay, in the past, Can macan kadu was held in village ceremony. However, with the development of the times, Can macan kadu is often featured in entertainment events and social gathering between groups. Ternyata teman-teman, ketika saya mencoba mengenali seni Can macan kadu ini, ternyata ada filosofinya loh. Ada pesan yang tersembunyi juga loh di Can macan kadu ini. Kenapa sih dia harus pakai istilahnya properti atau kostum yang like a tiger ya? Like a tiger. Kenapa sih kira-kira? Ternyata ada pesannya. Kalau ada anak yang nakal atau sering menangis, dulu biasanya ditakut-takutin nih. Kamu kalau nakal sama temennya, atau kamu kalau suka nangis, kamu nanti dimakan sama Can macan kadu. Ternyata begitu. Saya juga baru ketika membaca artikel ternyata ada filosofinya untuk pesan di Can macan kadu itu ya. Next, Can macan kadu kita tinggalkan karena saya juga masih belum fasih untuk mengucapkannya ternyata ya. Oke, next ini ada Janger. Nah, ini dia. Janger ini ibaratnya adalah kolaborasi nih atau perpaduan antara Jawa, kemudian Banyuwangi dan Bali ya. Teman-teman bisa baca di situ sendiri. Janger is a folk art that is presented in the form of a drama where the performance resembles ketoprak as found in the Japanese cultural area. The music used in Balinese or Banyuwangi gamelan. Nah, biasanya musiknya gabungan dari Bali dan juga dari gamelan dari Banyuwangi gitu ya. But the use of language in the strain of gending song and lyric is Japanese, while the dialogue use Maduris. Nah, udah ya. Jadi ini perpaduan semua nih. Madurisnya ada, Japanisnya ada, Banyuwangi dan sebagainya. Ini untuk Janger. Udah pernah nonton? Oh, belum? Oh, oke. Yang terakhir, bukan yang terakhir sih. Selanjutnya ada kentrung. Kentrung. Nah, kentrung art in Jember ini oriented towards Madura rhymes accompanied by tambourine or flying music. Biasanya ini cuma buat seni-seni pertunjukan gitu ya. Kalau di Jember sekarang sudah mulai berkembang nih. Namanya ada grup namanya Kentrung Jos. Nah, Kentrung Jos ini juga perkumpulan dari penggiat-penggiat sastra juga yang akhirnya membentuk kelompok dari Kentrung ini ya. Next. Don't worry, my presentation about the 10 minutes, okay? Oke, next. Lengger. Ada yang pernah dengar nggak nih? Barusan dengar loh. Kan saya barusan ngomong lengger. Iya nggak sih? Tapi sudah pernah nonton belum? Belum. Wah, ternyata budaya pendalungan itu luas banget. Tapi teman-teman masih belum tahu. Padahal kita udah tinggal di Jember nih ya. Oke. Lengger. Lengger was a ritual dance. Nah, dulu itu dinamakan sebagai bentuk-bentuk ritual gitu ya untuk lengger ini ya. Dan biasanya dulu untuk pemujaan Dewi Kesuburan atau Dewi Padi kalau dulu ya. But over time, it has shifted to entertainment and association in people's life. The strain of the song used by the Lengger dancer are traditional songs used Japanese. Lengger itu biasanya dia masih sifat-sifatnya masih tradisional gitu ya. Next. Terakhir sepertinya ini, insya Allah. Kalau ini saya yakin teman-teman pada tahu semua lah ya. Patrol music, ya tahu dong ya. Sejarahnya tahu nggak? Wih, di depan sudah ada tuh. Historically, the emergency of patrol music in Jember is based on night patrols. Atau namanya orang bilang apa? Bu? ronda gitu ya, buat ngeronda malam-malam ya. Nah, musical instrument used include flutes and some kentongan made of bamboo or wood. In its development, patrol music has undergone modification and variation. Jadi sekarang patrol music itu udah banyak variasinya, udah banyak modifikasinya gitu ya. Apart from that, the function of holding patrol music has also developed into a means to wake up the community for sahur. Nah, ya enggak tuh. Saya ingat yang tahun lalu deh. Tahun lalu itu waktu saya masih tinggal di apa? eh, bukan di daerah perkotaan, masih ada juga loh patrol yang membangunkan sahur gitu ya. Saya masih ingat 1 bulan yang lalu itu ya. Oke, next. Nah, oke. This is one of the arts that make the people of Jember proud and is held every August. So, Mr. Richard, if it's interesting with this event will be held on August every year, and this event is a world carnival, Mr. Richard. And I know that you will like this event. Yeah. GFT, Jember Fashion Carnival. I'm like in Jember Fashion Carnival. Jember Fashion Carnival. Oke, teman-teman pasti udah tahu semua ya kalau udah Jember Fashion Carnival nih ya. Salah satu perhelatan di Kabupaten Jember juga yang juga memadukan budaya pedalungan juga dengan tema yang berbeda tiap tahunnya ya. Kenapa saya tahu? Karena saya juga bagian dari keluarga dari JFC itu di Jember Fashion Carnival itu ya. Jadi di Jember Fashion Carnival ini teman-teman, ini juga memadukan berbagai macam budaya-budaya dari seni tarinya, musiknya, riasnya dan sebagainya juga ada mengandung unsur dari budaya pendalungan. Next presentation slide. Wah, kalau saya udah ngomongin soal slide terakhir itu pasti udah pada melek semua ini. Tadinya pada sayu-sayu semuanya ya. Tapi kalau dibilang mata kamu sayu gitu, mau nggak ya? Neng, matamu kok sayu ya Neng, mau nggak? Kenapa mau? Sayu itu ada kepanjangannya. Sayu itu sayang uang. Sayang uang bukan sayang dia. Oke, teman-teman tahu produk yang paling mendominasi atau yang paling kuat di kita itu ya batik ya. Batik Jember identik dengan apa sih, teman-teman? Tembakau. Oke, walaupun juga ada kopi, coklat gitu ya. Nah, Jember is famous for its batik motif dengan daun gitu ya. Dan khususnya juga dengan tembakau. Dan, nah teman-teman, dan Mr. Richard, I have ublang for Mr. Richard. Mr. I have ublang for you. Ublang. Nah, ublang, a traditional male head. It's nice, Mister. I love you, Mister. More love you, more. I Oke, thank you. Saya bilang itu adalah presentasi terakhir dan saya sesuai ya teman-temannya itu presentasi terakhir. Dan sekarang itu tentang bahasanya. Nah, sedikit aja ya teman-teman ya, terutama teman-teman yang dari PBSI ya. Udah, kebaca udah ya di depan nih ya. There are several words of repetition in Jember. Jadi ada reduplikasi nih, ada repetition gitu ya. Dan ini salah satu contoh dari penggunaan bahasa Jemberan namanya. Karena perpaduan dari Jawa dan juga dari Madura nih. Contohnya, oke. Ada kata kumlaku, lun alun. Jadi sekarang kalau ada orang ngomong, mau kemana kamu? Lun alun, berarti udah orang Jemberan itu, gitu ya. Mau kemana kumlaku? Mr. Richard, this is about our language. Can you speak with apa ya? Spelling with this kumlaku. Kumlaku. Yeah, it's mean go for a walk. But kumlaku. Wah, guys, mantap. Lunalun. Lunalun. Enggak Lunalun first, Mr. Richard. Lun alun. Oke, nice. What else? Nah ini teman-teman pasti udah pasti banget familiar banget ya. C enggak gitu ya. C enggak itu kayak no. C. Saya benar kan ngomongnya ya. C enggak gitu. Wih sih. C enggak Good expression. I think C enggak Oke. Lah ini yang paling sering. Boh. 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 Oke. Oh, your nickname, Boh. Oke. Iya. Right. Benora. Benora, it's mean like let it be. I don't care. Benora. Benora. Nah ini Benora. Oh, like a song. Can you sing to me? Oh no. Okay. Benora. Ya. Katanya lagu gitu ya. Nah ini saya juga kurang. Sereme, betul. Ceremi. Ceremi. Nah, cerem. Apa tadi? Ceremi. Nah, ya. The next one, I can spell good. Letter. It mean like overacting. 4L 4Y, Mr. Richard. You know that 4L 4Y? Letter. Metao. Metao atau metao? Metao. Just the meaning of the metao. Salbut gampang kayaknya ya. Wah, the last one, Mr. Richard. You have a good expression for spelling this. Senga, Mr. Richard. Senga. Galaknya saya dengan galaknya Mr. Richard beda ya. Watch out. Seperti senga gitu ya. Nah, senga gitu. Dan banyak lagi perbedaan kata dan apa yang merupakan juga perpaduan dari budaya-budaya etnis yang lainnya sehingga menjadi bentuk jadi budaya pendalungan gitu teman-teman ya. Akhirnya banyak pertanyaan nih, kenapa sih kok Jember itu apa ya, jarang banget ada konflik gitu ya, apalagi multi etnis ya. Ini rangkumannya teman-teman. Karena di pendalungan culture ini, in Jember Legacy include mutual respect, maintaining group solidarity, eliminating bad prejudice, toleransi, dan saling membantu untuk sesamanya gitu ya. Dan terakhir, next, I will show you this Mr. Richard. Ini adalah salah satu produk budaya pendalungan Mr. Richard. One of produk pendalungan Mr. Richard. Oke. Ya. Oke, gitu aja teman-teman. Terima kasih. Sesuai dengan janji saya hanya 10 sampai dengan 15 menit. Semoga dengan pertemuan singkat ini teman-teman jadi bisa memahami dan mulai mencintai dan mengenali mengenai budaya pendalungan ya. Terima kasih. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Is there any question? Maybe I will take, if not 1, 2 question maximum. Yep. Please stand up.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Salsa. I'm from English department, and I wanna ask to Ma'am Anet. Ma'am Anet said we should put the keyword in the internet about our class, and if we talk about keyword that we net, and in my experience, sometimes it's literally I didn't find anything, and it still wastes my time. And sometimes like I want to give up because there are so much reading books there that I should read. And my question is, I'm sorry, I'm nervous. My question is, could you please give me a tips how to browse easier, or maybe you have a recommendation source for us to browse our task more easier. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Salsa, for the question. So, yeah, this is what you need first is you have to analyze what kind of instruction that is given to you, and you need to provide kind of relevant term, yeah, or could be, yeah, you need to browse or you need to brainstorm what kind of topics or the relevant topics that is needed to answer your questions or to answer your topic. And that's why analyzing critically what is the keyword actually that you need to put in the browser is really important. That's why you can browse. That's not what I have taught you in my slide, that you can brainstorm, yeah, what kind of related term that is concerning with the topic. For example, like listening online, for example. How to teach listening online? Of course, we need the keyword here about teaching and online and the listening itself, right? So you can find, you can brainstorm some of relevant term or some of relevant topic. For example, like the media needs to teach online, for example. Media in teaching listening, for example. Then after that, you can have the combination of this information to answer your question. That's what you need to do first. Do not come to the website or do not come to the browser of the internet without understanding what is being investigated actually. what need to be investigated actually in your topic or in the instruction. So you need to understand what the instruction is and find the key term and find the relevant term to the topic that you need to answer. That's the first. And the second one, if it's about uh, what's that scientific, yeah, you know, if it is about scientific answer, yeah, for example, like you need to complete the task given in a certain in a certain class in your study, for example, of course, you need the scientific facts, right? Then the website that relevant to the scientific facts, for example, you can have, yeah, you know, from eric.com, for example, or Google Scholar. That's the most, I think, relevant website that we need. Yeah, that's some of the multiple, that's some relevant websites that I think you can find a credible sources there. Yeah, the credible sources there. Because you know that as a student, you need to answer scientifically, right? So that you also need to have the information in the scientific website. Can you also put a blog, for example, information from blog? Yes, you can, but you need to evaluate whether it has the author and who is the author. Is the author has the authority to read to write about that? For example, oh, the author is a language teacher, or the author is the English teacher, for example. Then yes, it is based on their her or his experience, the information that they have put in the blog, for example. Yes, of course, you need to cite this kind of blog properly in your scientific paper. I think that's my answer. Hopefully, that can help you. Okay.
Thank you very much, Ibu Anita. And I'm really sorry I cannot invite other questions. Let's have one last big applause to all our speakers. Okay, now we come to the end of our session. We are going to have some signing. Yeah, Mr. Richard. We will do some officially here, but later maybe we can continue in the office. Mr. Richard, we have some documents. This one to signature. This one for signature. Will that be okay? And we still have some other coming. Bisa bareng aja fotonya. Bisa dibantu diaturkan Mbak Humas. Maaf saya lupa. Fantastik aja. Terima kasih banyak semuanya. Thank you very much for all the students to come. Belum saya tutup dengan salam, mohon tidak inisiatif keluar. Okay, thank you very much to all the students for making your time coming to this webinar. We also have shared the link to access your certificate. Oh ya, kalian bisa scan di depan, ada X banner di depan, kemudian masukkan akses code ini, atau juga link yang ada di Zoom, kalau seandainya ada yang bergabung. Kalau tidak bergabung, maka bisa masuk scan yang di sini, dan akses code yang ini. Nanti aja setelah selesai, nggak apa-apa. Ini nggak saya bawa pulang, ya. Thank you very much to all the speakers for your insightful ideas and notes on today's webinar. We hope to have more lectures, to have more moments like this again in the future. Thank you very much. And we wish you, Mr. Richard and all the team, a safe flight back to the Philippines. And that is all from me. I apologize for all inconvenience that it may cause. And let's say hamdalah together. At the end, I say wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.